Fabiano?
Here.
I can't remember who's on the committee.
Everybody that's here is on the committee.
Wasn't guiding you.
No, except for
Yeah,
John.
okay.
Yeah, over here.
Ara Minicha?
Here.
Crisco?
He's not.
I know he's not, but sometimes he's on the phone.
Ed is, yeah.
Ed, Corey,
Here.
Duly noted. We got it.
And
and
Sandy.
Ms. Mangan, yes.
Here.
All right, let's start with that. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes.
So moved. I will. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was Ed and Armin.
Correct.
Thank you.
Is there anybody from the public?
Nope.
Discussion, next steps. Security grant update.
Okay, so without having to get into a lot of elaboration about it, in executive session, what we want to do is just give you an overall outline of what we're applying for in the security grant. Please understand that there are two grants. One is an infrastructure grant that's funded at $4.5 million for the entire state in public schools. And then there's an interoperable communications grant that's funded at $4.5 million for the state. We are applying for, in the interoperable grant, a handheld radio communication system upgrade. So currently our handheld radios are coming to the end of their useful life. We're going to upgrade that system to a handheld radio system that has interoperability directly to the police department. Okay. That's currently that's about $250,000 roughly. And that's the only thing in the interoperable grant that we'd be applying for. In the school infrastructure grant, there are a few things that we're going to apply for. The first one is we're going to be applying for a front-end system to operate the security cameras so that it will pull in our existing cameras to start. And it'll give us a single pane of glass that we can view all of the cameras within the district. That's a system called Milestone. It's widely used throughout the state in many, many schools. And that's about $73,000 on that one.
Where will that be located?
It's actually going to just sit sort of on our network system, and it'll be accessible by different people who have been given authorities to do. We're going to take the current card access system that we have, which is S2, and we're going to upgrade the card access system to give proximity cards to all of our staff so that they have card access to our buildings. That's about $25,000. And it was kind of nice that we had a very good system in play. We met with some great security people who gave us a lot of good direction and about what our current systems were. We had this awesome system that was in play. We just weren't utilizing it to its fullest degree. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put in a system called Raptor, which is for visitor management. That will give print badges for visitors that come to our buildings, timeframes, do background checks. And then the last one is to upgrade and put a master key lock system in place. And the discussion was when we did that would get incorporated into the new high school as well, so that there would be a sort of a key tree with one key at the top that opens every door and then different keys and progressions of keys down. And we would put key control in, which means all the keys we get numbered so that we can track what keys are out, what keys are lost, that kind of stuff. So that's the things we're applying for in the grant. Donna's working on it. We have a couple of adjustments and some pricing coming in on a few of these things. Allie and I had a meeting with the security people the other day, and we asked for a couple of adjustments on a few things, and we're ready to go submit the grant. So
The master key system, are these like physical keys or are these key cards that
So
controlled access?
so the access control system is a key card.
Right.
This is a physical key system. So every door still has to have a physical key. We don't have enough money to put card access to every single door in our building. So we need to start somewhere and get control of all this. So.
Okay. Thank you.
In the past, I think we've talked about some of these schools that don't have that closed-in entryway.
So because there is $4.5 million in the grant, and it's going to be spread over 169 towns, there isn't enough money. To be honest with you, we're putting all of this against the wall as we deem it to be what is the most important for us at this point in time. My guess is that we're probably not going to get all of this. We're going to get a chunk of it, but we're going to deem what is out of that list, what we get, what is going to be the exact most important that we need to put the money towards. And then as you'll see in the capital plan update, I have made provisions to continue funding those through capital plan.
Anybody else?
Just one question. So are the vestibules in the grant or are they not?
No, they are not.
They're in the capital plan.
They would be in the capital plan.
Okay, but they weren't in the capital plan. We
Yes,
submitted.
they were. Well, I made some corrections to the capital plan, which I'm going to review tonight. The vestibules were always in the capital plan. They were always in the capital plan, but they were funded out in different years, not in current year. So when the grant became available, the amount of money that we would need to do vestibules was to do the vestibules in the 4 buildings we need to do was probably somewhere in the $500,000 range. There's no way that we're going to put that 500,000 plus all the other things that we want in that grant and be able to get the money. We needed to deem what was the most important to us from a security perspective at this point.
Yeah, I thought we had moved them way out because we were putting them in the grant.
No, they didn't get moved way out. They got moved out to, well, you'll see it.
He's gonna do an update.
You'll see it.
Yeah,
We'll do an update on it. You'll see it.
Yes, Nick.
What was the total you're submitting for the grant, did you say?
255 on interop.
Yeah.
And give me 1 second. $288, maybe close to 300,000 on infrastructure.
Window project update.
Right.
Not funny anymore.
We submitted to the state everything they wanted. We're setting up a prep meeting, hopefully next week or the week after. Go there.
And you notified the
I'm
mayor.
Right, the mayor
that we're
knows
not-
that we're not doing the
Yeah.
project this summer. Sent her an email.
Done the time.
Right.
Can we get the windows?
Yeah.
Update on capital plan.
Ally's going to put it up on the screen.
Can I just, sorry, one question back on that window? With the costs increasing so much on raw materials, how does that,
Yeah, we got a updated on the budget, which is 1.2 million. And that will hopefully cover us because that has inflation in it.
that's what I want to go back to?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Prices might come down between now and next year. That's what I'm dealing with. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time on capital plan, but I just want you guys to understand that to us, in the way that we see the capital plan, it's a working document that changes on a regular basis. Things go on it, things come off it. I left the things that are currently we've requested for in the 2020.
Do you have maybe like an overview or something?
Blow it,
so we
blow
can-
It's hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
see it, blow it up.
Sorry.
So I did leave the things in the
Make it
2020,
bigger, please. There you go. Thank you.
in the 2020 plan, I did leave some of the things in there, but you're going to see some different language in there. For instance, on the new master lock system, it's going to say see district plan. What I did was I took some of the security things that were more of a district thing, and I created a new category for the district, because there are certain things that we need that aren't specific to a building, but they are specific to our district. So I created a new box, which you'll see. No real changes other than taking the master lock system out of Forbes. Vogel Wetmore, when we're going to talk about these SCG 1050 forms, it was a daunting task to do those forms. But one of the things that I found out when I was doing them is some of the conditions of roofs in the district. The Vogel Wetmore roof was put in 1995. It is long overdue for replacement. So based on the parts of the roof that are long overdue for investment, I did make an increase in the replacement of the flat roofs to 1.6 million. And that is based off of the cost that in square footage from what we did at the middle school to how much square footage we have at Vogel. So that's still somewhat of a rough estimate, but if we get that engineering review done, that will help us to create a better number for that. So there is an increase there. So I just wanted you guys to see that this is a working or a document that I have been working on. I have been updating. Go ahead.
Is it possible, I think, to color code or highlight or something with what you've changed? Because don't we have to fit within what we've already been approved? Like, I get the changes and I want to see those, but don't we have to kind of fit with what we've already been?
Yeah,
Approved
nothing's been
for?
changed for next year.
Nothing-
He's
yeah,
talking-
nothing-
He's talking about future.
These are future
Okay.
changes. So I just, like we always pull this document out in October and we say, okay, here's the capital plan. But I just want you guys to know along the way that I'm making changes. I didn't want to hand this all out and get everybody with a bazillion pieces of paper, but just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I had made changes to in this.
It probably, it might be helpful if there was a color code on.
I
changes,
could
Just like on architectural set of drawings. where you
I could color code it. That's not a problem.
It's just easier to track.
Yeah, point a note.
Then could
Um,
you send it to us?
I could electronically.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Yep. So
In the future.
Torrington Middle School, you'll see,
Yeah.
again, you'll see a couple of things in there. It says, see the district plan. If you continue to scroll down, Southwest School is interesting because one of the things I found out about Southwest is that there is a roofing issue there. Interestingly enough, when the building was renovated, the entire roof was not replaced. Only portions of the roof were replaced at the time during the renovation, and some of the existing roof was and others wasn't. So we have some that's older, some that's newer. So we need to take a look at Southwest about some roof work that's going to need to be done there. The oldest of the roofs go back to 1995 again.
That's what I was just
Oh,
thinking about.
the sections of Southwest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is there any documentation of that's some
Yeah, so
detail
we-
that you could figure out?
Yeah, so when I did the SCG 1050 forms, and we can kind of merge these two things together because that's the document you have. We used to have a program by Tremco that would come in, they would do surveys of all our roofs. And I had this incredible amount of information about roofs and warranties and when they were installed and potential issues and maintenance and costs. And the last time that was done is in 2014. It might be prudent. Yeah, might be prudent. I'm an educator.
Keep going. You're
It might be
good.
prudent to think about, not in this budget year, but maybe next budget year, to budget the money to have the Tremco company come back in. I did get a price from them. It was about $16,000 or $17,000, and do the roof survey again. And it kind of give us an updated thing. The last time it was done is 2014, and it was canceled after that.
What kind of information do they give you? How much detail in that?
A lot. It's they take pictures. They take pictures of the drains. They talk about deficiencies in the roof, possible leaks. They talk about warranties, install, the type of roofing. It's crazy the amount of information they give you. It's a really, really detailed report.
So they do some of the background research on previous projects.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, in order to go to the city for more money, it would be helpful.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Almost,
Yeah.
I would
So.
say- I would say it should be required.
Right, so,
To
you know, like if we go to the city and we say, hey, we need $1.6 million to put the roof on Vogel, and they're gonna look at us and go, okay, well, why? And if I could pull this report out and say, here's why, it certainly would be helpful. So I think next year, I put it on my, things for the future for budgeting, that it might be pertinent just to have this, instead of doing, like they recommend doing it every year. I'm not saying every year, let's just do it one time and get an updated one. And then maybe a couple of more years down the road, we can do it again. So scrolling down in this document, there were some minor changes, but the one I want to show you was the district plan. And in the district plan is where I dumped all of the security stuff, because really the security stuff is district-wide. And the only other thing that's in there is to replace the district trucks. And the reason why you see only $60,000 in replacing the district trucks is because I don't believe that it's pertinent for us to go out and buy 2 brand new trucks. There's a lot of good quality used stuff out there that we can get with the amount of use that we put on it. It will last a long time, but we have 2 trucks that are just at the end of their usable life. They're just falling apart. They're rotted like crazy. I have one of them that I've gotten to the point where we're not really roadworthy using it anymore. So I just wanted you guys to have an understanding that this is a working document. We are making changes. You did ask for the 10 years. It is something that I'm working on. I'm just not there yet to start proposing that. But when I have that draft of the 10-year plan, I'll bring that back to the facilities meeting so you can start to look at that, and I can get input from you guys on what it is that you're looking for more out of that plan.
Can I ask, just from a procedural, that we mark all of that with draft, just because it differs from what we voted and submitted in
That's fine.
December, so that we know what's a submitted document versus working draft?
So when I color code it and send it out to you guys electronically, I'll ink blot it draft.
Perfect.
I mean, I think the only thing that I wanted to bring up was, I think we've talked about that locked vestibule like a lot. And I think there's momentum from the board behind making that investment. I know it was part of the capital plan last year that we had to remove based on what we got, and just continuing to see that pushed out at the expense of other things. I just think.
Well, I would agree with you. I'm getting it done right away. When do you, where have you pushed it out to? I didn't even.
Next year.
Not 20.
Well, every school looks different on that sheet.
Wait a minute.
Could you pull it back up?
It's next year.
Forbes is next year, but
22,
Southwest was the
23.
following year?
This year's over.
No, next year.
Forbes
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
need a vestibule. I thought you were.
22, 23 years.
So Forbes, we're not looking at a vestibule based on where we think we may be with that building. Vogel's vestibule is already in place, so there's really 4 buildings that we're looking at with the vestibule. And my plan would be, and again, working document, so we would restructure, but my plan would be is that we would be submitting, once we finalize all of the information from the architectural firms, the architect firms that have been working on it with us, to submit those vestibules for funding for next year.
I think the issue is, and again, it's not, I don't even know who will decide, but it has been kicked. The can has been kicked down the road over and over again.
Well, the can gets
Yeah.
kicked down the road because the
Well,
funding doesn't get,
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying,
that's the
in
problem.
terms of what the priority, I mean, the issue of security has been on the mind of some people, quite heavily. And I think the fear in my mind is if something happens, we didn't take action as a priority, then, as a board, we're responsible for that, because the biggest priority in my mind for the children is
Chair.
security. Yes.
Can we consider going into executive session to discuss this festival?
Oh, okay. Well, That's, yeah, yeah.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session, inviting in Ed, Ally, Marissa, Sue, and John.
Second.
And maybe.
It doesn't board members.
Is Sandy already included?
Yeah, did you include Sandy?
Sandy, yeah,
Maybe a second?
second.
Fiona made the
I
motion.
made the motion.
Just a question, it's not on the agenda,
So
and we didn't amend, you didn't amend the agenda.
Right.
All right, so you're looking at the person who knows
So
nothing about
2/3.
anything.
All right, so one of
Two-thirds of
us
the people
three
can
has to
decide
move
Make
whether
a
they want to
motion.
go into
So I will
executive
move to amend the
Two-thirds.
agenda to add, where are we?
C, so.
So to move all the other items down and add 6D executive session to discuss security upgrades.
Second. All in favor?